Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something we almost never get to see: the personal diary of a patient counting down the 25 days to a life-altering bone marrow transplant. And it reveals this whole hidden world of challenges that start long before the actual medical procedure even begins. So this is the line that kicks off our story. Almost every single diary entry starts with these exact words. It's this powerful, almost haunting refrain. A stark contrast between how the author feels in the moment and the monumental battle he's about to face.
You might think these 25 days are just about waiting around, right? Well, not at all. As his diary shows us, preparing for this is an invisible, full-time job with a ton of moving parts.
So, before the medical battle can even begin, there's a completely different kind of fight, a fight against a maze of bureaucracy. And honestly, this is the part of being a patient that we just rarely ever hear about. I mean, just look at this. The author is trying to ask a simple question about his sick leave, and it turns into this absolutely frustrating, almost comical ordeal. He spends over an hour on the phone, getting disconnected, bounced around, put on hold, just trying to get a straight answer. It's a perfect example of the kind of energy-draining hidden work that patients are forced to deal with. And after all that effort, what does he get? He gets completely contradictory information from the exact same organization on 2 consecutive days. This isn't just a minor annoyance. Can you imagine the stress? It throws his entire financial and work planning into total uncertainty. And look, it wasn't just that one crazy phone call. His diary is packed with this stuff. A constant barrage of logistical hurdles. Chasing dentists, dealing with insurance, arranging transport. Each one is its own little battle, a piece of a much larger puzzle that has to be solved before he can even walk through the hospital doors. So on top of all that administrative craziness, another front is opening up, the physical one. The next phase is all about prepping his body for the transplant itself. And that means a series of pretty invasive medical procedures. So on January 5th, we're just a few days into the month, he undergoes his first big preparatory procedure. It's a bronchoscopy, which is basically to make sure his lungs are clear and ready for the intense treatment that's coming. He describes the whole thing as just deeply disorienting. The sedative leaves his memory of the actual procedure completely hazy. One moment he's getting drowsy, and the next, he's waking up in a recovery room with basically no idea what just happened. And you can see the physical toll almost immediately. Later that exact same day, his temperature spikes to over 38 degrees Celsius. That's about 101 Fahrenheit. His body is already reacting to all these preparations. Less than 2 weeks later, he's back for another really significant procedure. This time, they're inserting what's called a central line into a large vein in his chest. This thing is a crucial gateway. It's going to be the main pipeline for all the upcoming chemotherapy and the transplant itself. And this clearly was not a minor event. The aftermath was pretty intense. It hurt to move his neck, to breathe deeply, even to chew. It affected his sleep and made something as simple as taking a shower a whole ordeal for days. So we've talked about the logistical nightmare and the physical procedures, but what about the mental side of all this? The immense psychological weight of just waiting. This is where the diary gives us this incredible, powerful window into his mind. I mean, this is just brilliant. It really shows his internal state. He's just looking at a few stray hairs on his head and sees this profound, unsettling metaphor for his own stem cells, the very cells in his bone marrow that are the problem. He imagines them just like his hair. Most are healthy, but a few are just rogue, ready to multiply and ruin everything. It's an amazing example of how the diagnosis just colors his entire perception of the world. And what I love about this diary is that he's not just a passive patient. Even with all the discomfort, his mind is constantly working, trying to understand the why behind everything. He asks this really critical question about the timing of the catheter placement. And what's amazing is he actually reasons it out himself. He realizes that the timing, while super inconvenient, is actually a crucial safety measure. This extra week lets the incision wounds heal up before his immune system gets totally wiped out by chemotherapy, which drastically lowers the risk of a major infection. And so that brings us to the final day at home. This is that moment where just ordinary everyday actions suddenly take on this extraordinary heavy meaning. His diary just lists these small, final rituals of closing down his home life, taking out the trash for the last time, emptying the fridge, packing his laptop. Each one of these little things underscores the finality of this moment and just how long and uncertain the road ahead really is. So on January 25th, he walks into the hospital. The 25-day countdown is officially over. But as that February 1st transplant date looms, you're left with this powerful realization. This intense, chaotic period of preparation, it was just the prelude. The real story, the one that takes place inside those hospital walls, is only just beginning.